From the very start, Leadership Columbus has had a vision for our city, one that's full of inclusive and transformative opportunities for diverse leaders. They create experiences where people can learn from each other, grow, and give back, all while having some fun in the process. And our community as a whole is reaping the rewards. So for today's sponsored segment, I'd like to welcome Lachandra Baker and Shannon Lee. So thank you both for being here.
Thank you.
All right, Lachandra, I want to talk about this because discussions on diversity, equity, inclusion, or DEI, have become certainly more commonplace, but some people still don't realize what it is, what it means, right? So from your perspective, share with us what that means for you.
Sure, absolutely, and thank you, Robin, for having us here today. I think a lot of times people think of diversity, equity, and inclusion as a zero-sum game, right? They're thinking if somebody wins, somebody's losing. And so when you think about it in that way, where it's a place of scarcity instead of abundance, it makes it feels like a loss, for folks. But I like to tell people it's not pie, number one. So you're not cutting up a pie that's finite, and you have to give people little pieces, and people have that resentment of not getting a big enough piece. Think of it more like a candle. So if you have a candle and it's lit, and then you lean over and you light somebody else's candle, you don't lose anything from your light, but you're giving somebody else light. So then the light is more illumination in the room, there's more warmth, and you didn't lose anything, and everybody else is gaining. So that's what diversity, equity, and inclusion is really about, giving everyone enough for them to be able to live their fullest life, reach their fullest potential, and have what they need to survive.
Absolutely. It's like lifting other people up doesn't do anything except for help you, right?
Exactly.
I mean, that's essentially at the core. And so I love to that end, your mission statement for Leadership Columbus is to develop, connect, and inspire diverse leaders who serve as catalysts in building a strong and vibrant community. So I want to talk about, Shannon, to you, why is it important to have diversity right at the center of your overall mission too?
Yeah, well, first of all, diversity is a fact. Right? We live in a diverse world. We live in a diverse community here in Columbus. And because our programs focus on training and developing current and aspiring leaders, we feel a moral imperative to ensure that they're leading in ways that are equitable, that are intentionally inclusive, that create a greater sense of belonging in the workplace, a culture of belonging. And when I talk about belonging, I don't mean just do I have a friend at work, but do I feel like my input matters, that I'm valued, that I'm treated with dignity at work?
Right, absolutely. And I know that mentality permeates into your values as well, so people don't feel marginalized, right? And kind of to what you were saying, right? Yes. They don't feel like they're losing because you're winning, and that is the goal.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay, Lachandra, when we're talking about groups who historically have been marginalized then, how can businesses, how can leaders create really that sense of belonging in the workplace? Because sometimes it can seem maybe like an overwhelming feat to some people, right? I don't want people to feel left out, but how do I do that? In the workplace?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost is to know that you don't have the answer to everything, right? So you have to include people in the conversation, right? That's what we talk about a lot. Inclusion is so important. It's not just enough to have diversity where you have the numbers where people are there, but how much are they giving back their input? How much of the decision making they have? How much autonomy do they have? So as a leader, first of all, you have to kind of look at yourself. We talk about that all the time, right? And get into yourself and then say, I don't know the answer, but together we know the answer. And so that's what I think a lot of leaders need to start doing, is give each other grace and space to be able to learn, unlearn, and relearn all the things that we were taught that were not exactly accurate. Now we have to learn these new things. And so you're bringing people into the conversation. So there's a saying that says nothing about us without us, and I 100% believe that. So you have to bring people into the conversation to know how to really solve and support them.
Yeah, and I also think of just immediately when you said that, we do better because we know better.
Correct.
Right? I mean, that's something that a lot of us say even in a role as a parent, in a role, in all these different ways that can really, help engage. So Shannon, what are some of the best ways when you're talking to a leader, if they're not culturally proficient in this and they don't know a lot about DEI, how can they help, I guess? Where do they start?
Yeah, that's a great question. First of all, to ping off of something Lachandra said, I think the first place leaders can start is inside. Leadership is an inside-out process, and leaders need to really interrogate, if you will, their own biases, understand the way that shows up and their privilege shows up in their roles, and then understand the impact that has on others. That takes some self-reflection, a willingness to learn, and a commitment to change behavior when they do learn new things, like you were saying just a moment ago. Also, something else leaders can do is to really lean on the expertise of DEI professionals. Some businesses can afford to bring a professional in as a permanent member of their staff, and others may need to partner with a consultant. But support them and amplify their voices so that the work that they are doing can make a difference in your organization. And then the last thing these leaders can do is understand that DEI is a lifelong journey. This is not like a temporary initiative. This is something we commit to and learning and growing towards every single day.
Every day.
Lachandra, let's tell people then about the programs you do. You want to work to grow the next generation. You want to help the leaders that are there. You want to do all of this right here in Columbus. So what are some of the ways you're doing that?
So we have programs we have our signature program, which is a beautiful program that invites leaders from all organizations here in Central Ohio to come and learn. And it's a year-long program, and they do everything from public safety to diversity, equity, and inclusion to emotional intelligence, all the things that you need to be a great leader in the community. We also have our COLA program, which is our leadership program for our high school and young emerging leaders program, which we love very much. And then we also have our Next Gen and Exec Gen programs for the young emerging leaders, and then those who are ready to go to the C-suite but not quite there yet. So we have all these training programs that get them ready, but then we expect them to go out into the community and learn and by doing. It's not enough just to have the classroom training, but you have to learn by doing and then take all of that and help make our community better.
Yeah, take action and do your part. Awesome. All right, leadershipcolumbus.org. You can learn about all those amazing programs and the things that you all are doing every day here in Columbus. So thank you for being here.
Thank you, Robin.
Thank you so much, Robin.